Well, the stage seems to be set for a battle in Peel Region. Mississauga leaders have long discussed the idea of breaking away from Peel Region and operating as an independent city. And yesterday, Ontario Premier Doug Ford may have sped up the process, hinting that he agrees with the proposal. We spoke earlier with Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie about this.
We have funded the region of Peel for the past 50 years. There was a time that we were providing 70% of the funding for the region of Peel, notwithstanding only had 50% of the vote. Now with Brampton's growth, we're now funding, it was 66%, now it's 60%. So we're still funding the vast majority of the region of Peel's growth. And in addition to that, we transfer $84 million a year to Brampton for roads, planning, and for policing. So we're actually paying for the majority of policing services that are used in Brampton.
But Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown is insisting the separation won't come cheap for the residents of Mississauga. Well, Patrick Brown joins us live for a closer look at all of this. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. First off, I'm curious, have you spoken with the Premier since his comments yesterday?
I haven't spoken to the Premier in the last day, but I did speak to him last week. He assured us that Brampton would not be shafted. Mayor Crombie seems to conveniently ignore the reports and studies that have been done on this. There is no transfer to Brampton. That is ludicrous. The reality is we have two water treatment plants that are both in Mississauga. Brampton has paid 40% of the cost of those water treatment facilities. Our Peel Police headquarters is in Mississauga. Essentially what Mayor Crombie is free ride. This is not Canada's Wonderland. She can't have a free ride on the backs of Brampton taxpayers. To replace the infrastructure that we paid for in Mississauga, that services all the Peel region, right, would be in the tune of $1 billion. If she thinks she can take $1 billion that has been contributed from Brampton residents and not have to pay it back, that is offensive. One of the reasons I am saying we have no issues with independence, but pay your bill. You have to pay your bill. You can't take money that was contributed from another municipality and expect for us to forget about it.
So what's the next steps that you plan on taking moving forward in this issue?
Well, we're going to look at the cost. If heard that we would be paid back, and I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this. I have a city of hard-working taxpayers. We saw during COVID, we are disproportionately essential workers in the transportation logistics sector, food processing, medical technology, and they have sweat and toiled and worked hard over the last 50 years to build this Peel region infrastructure. And so Mayor Crombie may talk about what it cost in 1970 to build this infrastructure. That's irrelevant. We have to look at what the costs are today in 2023. And in terms of her reference to the Peel Police, there are more calls in Mississauga than there is in Brampton. And so in these distraction games we're seeing do not relate to the fundamental costs. It is not cheap to build a water treatment facility. It is not cheap to build a regional police headquarters. Those are real costs. And the mayor of Mississauga has to do her homework and explain. She's going to explain this to the provincial facilitator, how they're going to pay for it. How is Mississauga going to afford $1 billion, which would be, at a minimum, their cost to replace this infrastructure in Brampton?
Well, Mississauga and Brampton clearly have two very different identities, and I'm curious, what are you hearing from residents about this situation?
So what I hear from my residents is we don't object to the independence. I see problems with the region of Peel. There is redundancy. I don't mind getting, removing regional government. Frankly, I think there's too much government in Canada. Our only issue is to make sure that what we paid into the region of Peel is paid back, and that the infrastructure we built in Mississauga, Peel region's infrastructure is largely in Mississauga, and we paid 40% of the cost. And now that the servicing capacity is almost used up, right now we're on the precipice of having to build a new water treatment plant. We have to build a new police facility. And now's when Mississauga is saying they want to get up and leave. Well, I'm sorry, but you have to pay. You have to pay your share. You can't run out on the bill, which is essentially what Mayor Crombie is suggesting to do. It's unethical, it's wrong, and it's taking advantage of hardworking Brampton residents.
And if you don't see that money, how do you expect this is going to impact taxpayers in your region, and how is your city going to recoup those costs?
Well, we wouldn't accept it. Legally, theft is not allowed in Canada, and this would be theft from our residents. And so we would pursue litigation if what we paid into the infrastructure was not paid back. And it's not a choice. Water treatment infrastructure is a necessity. Having emergency services infrastructure is a necessity. And sure, I hear some people in Mississauga say, the Peel Region Council chambers in Brampton. That's not a necessity. We don't need that anymore. You can sell that off, but you do need water treatment. You do need emergency services capacity. And so I'll be very vocal on this. Brampton would not stand for our residents being taken advantage of.
Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown, we appreciate your time. Thank you.